Alright guys, welcome back to the channel where today we're talking Universe Mode in WWE 2K23 as this year sees the mode receive a big update to the way rivalries are handled, where the power is now firmly in control of the player. So we're going to go through all the new updates to Universe Mode, but before we do, if you're new to the channel, please do hit that subscribe button as I've been dropping exclusive videos all week and I've got loads more to come between now and release. So let's take a look at Universe Mode in WWE 2K23, where jumping into the mode and selecting one of the 3 save slots, you'll be given the option of playing in Superstar Mode, which was the big addition last year, as that option allows you to play the mode controlling a single superstar, which kind of works as a single player career. Alternately, we have Classic Mode, which is the mode that we're going to focus on today, as this option gives you full control over Universe, allowing you to customize every aspect of your show. Jumping into Classic Mode, this year the main change to Universe Mode comes in the form of new Rivalry Actions, which allow players to select cutscenes to play out during matches, which in turn allows you to steer rivalries in a certain direction. To show off this option, when viewing a match card in Universe Mode, players can select a match and then press the right thumbstick to bring up the new Rivalry Action screen. On this screen, players have the ability to add an action, which when selected will bring up the action category screen where players can select the type of action that they want to add. To run through the categories, we have Sportsmanship, which is a low intensity category that includes options like handshakes and gestures of respect, which lead to clean and competitive rivalries. Showdown, which is a medium intensity option, includes cutscenes that bring stars face to face, which is good for furthering rivalries and taking them to the next level. Disrespect brings a mixture of medium to high intensity actions, which can be used to elevate a less intense rivalry to the next level, with this category including cutscenes that show the player mocking their opponents and refusing to shake hands. Moving into the high intensity options, we have Cheap Shot, which includes a mixture of medium to high intensity options that see the player attacking their opponent when they least expect it. As for the most intense actions, we have the Attack option, which is the highest level of intensity, and that includes brawling cutscenes and weapon attacks. To give you an example of how this works, if we select the Attack option, then this will take us to a list of cutscenes that we can choose, where we're given a list of available options and a description of that particular scene. The best thing about this is that it gives you a good idea of what the cutscene includes so that you can ensure that you pick the right one, plus it also gives you details of any status effects that the cutscene can trigger, as for example, if we select the Mutual Aggression cutscene, then you can see that this action will cause both players to start the match with moderate damage and 33% momentum on this special meter. Going back to the description of the cutscene, it also notes that using this cutscene will cause some changes to the player's attributes, as the Mutual Aggression cutscene will increase Roman's bold trait. Taking a look at some of the other options, you can see that different cutscenes cause an increase or decrease to certain traits, which over time will see superstars begin to act different. Once you select an action to use, you'll be taken back to the rivalry screen where your chosen action will be displayed for the superstar that you selected. At this point, you can choose to save the match, or you can opt to add a second action for the opponent, as the feature allows you to select 2 possible cutscenes, which is great for players that want to steer a rivalry in a certain direction, but they still want to keep an element of surprise as to which one will play out. If you select an action for both stars, then the way the game determines which cutscene will play all comes down to momentum, as the rivalry screen includes a momentum bar showing which superstar has the upper hand, with this momentum helping to sway the choice of a cutscene in the direction of the star who has the most momentum. As these rivalries are just starting out, the momentum bar for each superstar is currently 50-50, therefore selecting to play this match will see the game randomly choose one of the 2 cutscenes, which will then trigger as the match begins. Going back to the actions menu, if we select an action for one superstar and leave the other superstar's actions blank, there's no guarantee that this action will trigger, as selecting to play the match will still see the game decide which action wins based on momentum, so if the game selects the star with no action applied, then no action will be applied to that match. While the random element is nice to keep players surprised, for players that want full control over the cutscenes that play, there is an option for free mode, which when enabled will disable the momentum bar and instead allow you to load straight into the match with a chosen action, which is great for players that want to see a specific cutscene, as this gives you complete control over how that action plays out. One of the best things about this new feature is that players now have the ability to start a rivalry between certain superstars and determine which kind of rivalry plays out. As for example, if you want to create a storyline that sees a tag team break up, then you can select a cutscene like the pompous tag team partner option that sees both stars begin to argue over who starts the match, as this option will increase a player's disrespectful and treacherous traits, which in turn will lead to them turning on their tag team partner. Running through the match card, you can see that the rivalry actions aren't available for all matches, as there are some limitations, as it's only possible to select rivalry actions for single and tag team matches, as the feature doesn't appear to support triple threat or any matches involving more than 4 players. As for extra options, while I didn't get a chance to check it, I was told by some other creators that there were additional cutscenes when customizing title matches, so it looks like we'll also get some champion specific cutscenes that see players interrupt and challenge the champion, or perhaps even an open challenge. So that's the Rivalry Actions feature and all the options there. However, in terms of other new features, there's not a lot that stood out. As scrolling through the universe options, a lot of the options that are there remain the same, though some good news is that players can select to play Wargames matches in universe mode. However, the one caveat to that is that you can only hold the match in one of the Wargames arenas. Therefore, if you try to set up a Wargames match on another show like Money in the Bank, then when you select to play that match, it'll load the match in the Wargames arena. As for any other changes, when editing a show, I did notice that the show elements now have a lot more options included for the available arenas and graphics, as last year the options were quite limited. However, this year there's a lot more in there, and there's also a downloaded content tab included for DLC, which would suggest that we'll see new arena content bundled with the DLC packs, though so far there's been no mention of any DLC arenas. One other change that I noticed was the removal of the Undertaker's Wrestlemania rivalry. As scrolling through the universe options, this option is no longer present, though I guess that change is due to the Undertaker no longer being an active superstar. To answer some questions on Universe Mode, one question that I have seen quite frequently was in regards to premium live events and whether Wrestlemania is held over 2 days, though from checking out the calendar menu, Wrestlemania is still a 1-day event, so if you want to have it take place over 2 days, then you'll have to set up a second show and maybe set the first show to use the Raw roster and the second show to use Smackdown. So that's a run through of Universe Mode. Unfortunately, I didn't get time to try out Superstar Mode, so I don't know if there's much change there, but in regards to the classic universe, the main change is the rivalry options, which I think makes for a really good addition, as I've wanted the ability to set up a specific rivalry with certain storylines and superstars for years, but it's always been down to the AI which cutscenes would play, so now finally having that option to go in there and set up the type of rivalry that I want is a really good addition. I also think looking to the future, this feature is probably the first step towards bringing back Creator Story, or at least adding some of those elements into Universe Mode, so I'm really intrigued to see where this goes in 2K24. So that's an overview of the updates to Universe Mode and how the new Rivalry Actions work. Let me know what you think of the update in the comments, and stay tuned to the channel as I'll have more Universe content coming up later, along with some more exclusive gameplay. Until then though, thank you so much for watching this video, have yourself an awesome day, and I'll catch you later.